Archibald Anderson, the fishmonger's son from Baker Street, Stirling, who became one of Otago's grand old Presbyterian patriarchs and an elder statesman of South Otago. Archibald Anderson was born here in Stirling in 1817 and educated at its noted old grammar school, which has a historic plaque on the building notes, was for the better off boys of the town. His father owned profitable salmon fisheries, and on leaving school, Archie joined him in the business. But when his father died, Archie was just 21, rather than carry on the family business, he decided to sell up and emigrate to New Zealand. He was a cabin passenger on the Bengal Merchant, one of the New Zealand Company's first immigrant ships to Wellington in 1840. Archie had pre-purchased 100 acres of land and was planning to go farming. He took with him all the gear he would need and some farm servants to help him. Early Wellington was poorly planned, however, and the settlers arrived before the land surveyors had done their work. Denied access to his land until it was surveyed, Archie Anderson opened a store instead, right where Wellington railway station stands today. A second store followed before Anderson made a trip down to Otago in 1844 to check out its potential. A business partner followed with a large flock of sheep, some cattle and horses, and Anderson's first investment in the Otago settlement had begun, long before any of the New Zealand Company settlers had reached it. After getting married in Wellington in 1844, Anderson and his wife, Hannah Miller, relocated to the site of future Dunedin in 1846. At that point, only Kettle's survey party was in residence, and Archibald Anderson had the choice of the whole town site to find himself a spot to build a house and a store. He chose a spot just near here on Bell Hill that would later become the site of the first church and school. And by the time the first settlers arrived in 1848, Anderson was well ensconced. Though he was forced to move his house, Archie proved to be a great support to his fellow Scots. Food from his farm at Calgan Grove, on what's now called Harbour Cone or Heriweka, provided vital food supplies. He voluntarily acted as Dunedin's first postmaster and even employed one of the Philip Lang passengers, William Jaffray, to tend his flocks at Saddle Hill. Being in first was a real advantage for all the early settlers, but Archibald Anderson also had the capital to take advantage of those opportunities and the canniness and business nous to make every post a winner. It'll take a long time to describe all of his ventures or to track his movements through the pioneer era and beyond. Suffice to say that the whole Balnows neighbourhood of Dunedin was once his farm. Bellevue Street recalls the name of his home here, just like Stirling in South Otago is derived from the name of Archibald Anderson's hometown. Archie had moved south in the early 1850s, running extensive flocks over vast acres as he gradually built up his land holdings from his homestead Balmoral here at Clutha. His family had also grown, 10 children, born in the 14 years before Hannah's death in 1860 as a result of a miscarriage at the age of 37. Up till then, Archibald had played an active role in local politics, being a founding member of the Otago Provincial Council. He had served continuously until Hannah's death, but withdrew from public life thereafter. Archibald soldiered on alone as a widower for the next 51 years and became increasingly devoted to church affairs as a deacon and elder of the Clutha Presbyterian Church. Archibald Anderson died in 1910, just before his 93rd birthday. He was rich in acres and surrounded by an extensive family network who looked up to him as a founding father, as indeed did the whole Clutha community. He had seized every opportunity that immigration offered, parlaying his inheritance in Scotland into substantial landed wealth here in Otago.